Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this Saturday morning edition of New Distributor Training. My name is Fred Holmes. I'm one of the people that will be here on Saturday mornings to share information with you. I'm an independent distributor with Zija International, and I support this message. Right. So good to see all of you. Glad to have you joining us this morning. Welcome to my home office. In particular, I want to welcome those of you that are just getting started with us, our brand new distributors. The title of the broadcast on Saturdays is New Distributor Training. It's a little bit of a misnomer, simply because we do this every single Saturday. It's never the same thing. We try to delve into different aspects of being an independent distributor in a network marketing business, and specifically how that relates to being a Zija distributor. And so what I want to do first, especially for those of you that are just getting started, but also maybe those of you that have been around for a while, and you're starting to sense the incredible momentum the company's going into. We've had so many changes over the last year. We've been able to dramatically expand our corporate infrastructure. Today, the estimates are we could produce as much as $2 billion a year of our products just with the infrastructure we have in place already. We've acquired an incredible new corporate team with Jeremy Red, one of the industry's top performers as a corporate CEO. He's already led companies to the $1 billion a year level of production and above. We've entered into a whole new compensation plans in the last 6 months, where we're incentivizing correct activities, where our customers can literally receive their products for free by simply sharing with others. We've developed programs where our new distributors can create much more income quickly out of the gate as they're building their Zija business. We've incentivized people to simply be distributors of the product without any development of a team. There's many things that have happened, and then add to that the most recent introduction of our newest product line, our CBD, Intune CBD squares. I've got one right here. And yes, that was officially placed so that you could see that I'm working out. Okay. Yes, I do that on purpose. I'm 65 years old, and I'm not exactly sure what 65 is supposed to, look like and feel like, but I'm pretty darn sure it's not me. And that's a credit to our Zija products. This new product division in CBD oils. This is something that all of us have become extremely excited about because this is the path for Zija International as a company to go to that $1 billion a year category. I mean, we've already accomplished things that, less than 1% of the companies that have ever existed in network marketing have been able to accomplish. We've been in business over a decade now. That's a unique statement all on its own. Most of these companies rarely last more than a couple of years. We've achieved over $1 billion in cumulative sales, and we are on lightning pace to achieve $1 billion in annual sales over the next, say, 3 to 5 years. And so it's an exciting time with Zija. And what I want to do, what we hope to accomplish during these Saturday mornings, is to arm each one of you with the skills and the focus and the mindset that's required to be a high-level performer. Whatever it is that are your goals, to help you achieve those high-level goals. And so a couple of things for you. First of all, for those of you that are brand new, I encourage you to get kind of the foundational information, the new distributor training. I have produced it's kind of a funny way to put it. I've done a few small training videos. I'm going to give you, if you're on your cell phone, tap the screen. You'll see a chat box window. And good morning, aloha, Gina. Very, very cool. Yeah, she private messaged that to me, but I'll just share it with you. My pseudonym, he who dances on beaches, or dances with beaches. There's a Kevin Costner movie that was similar to that. Let's see. I'm going to give you a link, www.youtube.com/Fred Holmes Zija. Now, when you go to that YouTube channel, you're going to find lots of information there. We archive all of our Thursday night business presentations, our Saturday morning new distributor trainings. But you will also find, whoops, I guess I didn't do that correctly. Let me try that again. I was private messaging me. I'll figure that one out. I guess that's kind of like talking to myself. That's the link to the YouTube channel. Now, there's another link I want to share with you. When you get to the YouTube channel, you'll see a couple of tabs there. One of them says playlists. Here's the direct link to that. Playlists. There we go. And on that link, that doesn't look right. Let me try this again. Here's the YouTube channel. Don't know what happened there, folks. Fred Holmes Zija. And then, interesting. It seems to me that somebody else may have to do this. Oh, I maybe got it this time. Here we go. www.youtube.com/Fred Holmes Zija. And then www.youtube.com/Fred Holmes Zija/playlist. Let's see if I can get it done this time. If not, I'm going to skip it. Yeah, that's probably a little bit better. So those last two links. I wanted to point out the playlist because in the playlist tab, there's only one playlist. Okay, there's 4 little videos there. The first one is 30 minutes long, and it's called New Distributor Training. I really encourage you to take that in. It is, a culmination of all the things that I've learned over 30+ years in the industry, and it is the foundational elements of being an independent distributor. It's what we do and how we do it. And that's going to be very, very powerful for you. The other 3 little videos that are included there, combined, they would be considered the fast start training. And I encourage you to take another 30 minutes and watch those. Those 3 little videos are about 10 minutes apiece. How to develop your Zija story, how to create a prospect list, a 90-day game plan. These are all things that every successful distributor in a network marketing company has embraced and learned, not only for their own development, but to teach others. And so I encourage you to do that. I know that many of you joined this broadcast on Saturday. It's supported by many of our top field leaders. Many of you have other diamond and above ranked leadership as part of your support team. Not every single person that attends these broadcasts would say be part of my personal organization. And I encourage you to plug into your upline diamond leadership. Many of those folks have produced online resources for you. They do team trainings and so on. And I really encourage you to be involved with all of that. For instance, one of the regular participants here is Pat Anderson. Pat Anderson has a website. I'll just go ahead and throw that in there right now. Pat Anderson website is www.clubmoringa.com. She has produced a tremendous amount of resources, videos. Pat Anderson, as many of you know, she does our Wednesday evening product-focused broadcast, a very powerful tool for you. So plug into all of that. All of that's going to be a major advantage to you. Now, today, what I want to kind of dial into a little bit more is the concept of your story. One of the things that I learned very, very early on in my tenure in network marketing is that the fastest way to create duplication within an organization is not to teach techniques. Okay, and techniques are what everybody wants to know. Where do I go? Who do I talk to? What do I say? What do I say if they say this? You know, techniques will never be the key to your success if what you're looking for is to create a very large consumer base. And make no mistake about it, that's what we do in network marketing. This is a business model that is one of the most efficient and elegant distribution models that the world's ever seen. You know, we're all familiar with retail distribution model, you know, and that typically involves, you know, investing a lot of capital and creating a store, a fixed site retail location, an incredible amount of capital and inventory, you know, hiring employees, all the kinds of things that go with developing a traditional business for one purpose, and that's to develop a consumer base that you can move your products or services into the marketplace. Retail sales in today in the 21st century would include online sales. Again, a lot of investment in advertising, facilities, inventory, promotions, simply to create consumers. Direct sales, it's kind of the opposite of retail sales. Direct sales is, instead of, you know, doing all this to get the customer to come to us so we can move product to them, direct sales is the opposite, where the salesperson goes directly to the customer. And, you know, while that's an incredibly profitable form of sales, it's very difficult to be a direct salesperson and make a lot of money when you're not dealing with very high-end products. For instance, some of you are familiar with, like, what is it, Hoover vacuums. They come in and the guy volunteers to shampoo your carpet. The first thing he does is throws a bunch of dirt on there, and then shows you how your vacuum doesn't clean it up, but his does. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you bought an $1,800 vacuum. I know, I got 3 of them at different times in my life. And that's a very, very profitable type of enterprise for a direct salesperson. Much more difficult to do that when you have much smaller price products. Now, enter network marketing. Network marketing is a direct sales business. That's why we're called a direct sales company. We certainly, the sale is from an independent distributor directly to a consumer. But the business model, the distribution model of network marketing is incredibly powerful, because you as an individual can create tremendous leverage. So for instance, you could go out and sell, you know, get one customer or get another one, get another one, get another, you know, 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 is 4. And that would be a typical direct sales company. Now, in network marketing, you also have the ability to develop your own distribution teams. And so that would be doing what many professions do. Real estate industry, you know, pretty much any kind of industry is always looking for top quality people to help develop their business. And we can do the same thing. We can develop new distributors and create leverage. So example with that, I could find a brand new distributor, find somebody like me who would like to create some additional income, have fun doing it, help people, be able to do this in a flexible schedule. And what my job would be to, as their sponsor, to help them find, let's say, 2 people, okay? 2 people that would also like to have what we're looking for. And then I'm going to take those 2 people and I'm going to help them find their first tool. See, this is the concept of multi-level marketing. Instead of working with my personal distributor alone, I'm going to help him get 2 people. And then I'm going to start working with those people that are now on the next level, my new distributor's first level. And then I'm going to help those 2 find their first 2, and so on. And what I have is the ability to develop, instead of a linear customer acquisition, is what I call it. 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 is 4 consumers. What I would be doing is I'd be doing 2 × 2 × 2 × 2 which if you do the math is 30 consumers. And I call them consumers because as distributors, we're all consumers. Now, I have 30 consumers, let's call them distributors, but they're really consumers, by simply sponsoring one person. And I want you to think about this for a minute. As a distributor, and all of you that are distributors have been around for a while, you'll appreciate this. As distributors, we're our own best customers. Okay, I consume a lot of the Zija products every single day. I provide them for my mother, several of my family members. Many people realize that as a distributor, we end up consuming a lot more products, which kind of makes sense. You know, we're familiar with the company's product offerings. We've had a lot more exposure to the science behind it. The company gives us free product for simply doing what we do. It just kind of makes sense. Now, if you had a choice between having, 30 distributors consuming the product of 30 customers, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to have more volume with 30 distributors. But those 30 distributors, if they simply introduced the Zija products to 1 or 2 or 3 of their friends, you went from 30 consumers to 60 to 90 to over 100, but it was all by developing one person. Now, the way to create that kind of duplication is to, rather than focus on specific techniques, to focus on concepts, to focus on a simple system. It's very important to understand that very large companies have always been systems dependent. Small businesses are people dependent. If you try to teach your organization exactly what you do, the specialized techniques that you use, you will always be, a small business that focuses on you. I've always tried to focus on creating simple duplicatable systems and then allowing the individuals to do whatever it is that is their strong suit. Some people are really good at cold marketing. Some people are good at, social media marketing. Other people are good at home parties, meeting people on the street. Me personally, I focus entirely upon building in depth in my organization. I've never run out of people to talk to because every new person that joins my business, whether it's somebody I personally sponsor or whether it's somebody on my 5th, 10th, 50th, or 100th level, every single one of those people comes into the business with a huge contact base that I would never have a chance to meet. And so that's the process that I was taught many years ago. And one of the key ingredients to that is understanding how powerful the story is, because you can communicate a tremendous amount of information through your personal story, the kinds of things that are going to create movement in your prospect much more efficiently, much more effectively than being a highly qualified salesperson that knows all of the ingredients and all of the products and the exact applications, or from a recruiting perspective, being a distributor that knows all about the industry, all the statistics, all of the unique components of our compensation plan compared to another company's compensation plan. With that level of training that's required for that, you'll never create duplication. Now, I'm going to encourage you, for the purposes of today's training, to refresh yourself. Even if you've already heard it a few times, go to the YouTube channel, click on Playlist tab, and seek out the Develop Your Zija Story training. It's 10 minutes long. I've actually reviewed that a couple of times this week. Honestly, I can't do that here as well as I did it there. I don't know why. Well, I do know why that particular video was so good, is because I sat down, I did it in 10 minutes, and it was done at about 4:30 in the morning. And my brain's a lot more clear at that time. I'm not going to try and duplicate that. What I want to do is I want to dig down into that to maybe give you some maybe higher level understanding of what the story's to be. And I'm going to do that here in the next few minutes, and then I'd like to open up and do question and answers. Oftentimes I find, much to my dismay, that my training isn't always as effective as I'd like it to be. But working with people's questions tends to be a lot more effective for the individuals. So let me do this here. I'm going to just double check. And folks, if you have any questions or whatever, put them into the chat box. I'll do my very best to answer everybody's questions. Now, the story itself has 3 elements. Each one of those elements is very, very important for the communication that you want to be providing for your prospect. Now, this applies to whether you're prospecting a potential customer, or whether you're prospecting a potential distributor. It's really the same formula. Your focus is just different. But the 3 elements of your Zija story, number 1 is your background and motivation to get involved in Zija. Now, from a product perspective, it could be, I was a busy executive, had no time to focus on good health and wellness, and started being overweight, lacked energy, and was highly motivated to find a way to get back to how I used to feel when I was a younger person. Okay, so your background, motivation to get involved. From a business building story, my story, very simple. When I first got involved in this industry 30 plus years ago, I was a cross-country truck driver, and very, very motivated to create significant income and have time freedom to be able to provide for my son, my older son, as he entered school age, a special needs child. I needed a lot of money to provide for the specialized education, and I needed time freedom to be with him. That first component of your story is critical because it's what causes people to identify with your situation. Now, the person you're talking to, might not be a busy executive, might not be a cross-country truck driver, a single mom, a stay-at-home mom, successful, whatever your background is, that may not be the background of the person you're talking to. Okay, however, sharing that part will help them start to identify with you. And one of the important ingredients you'll learn in new distributor training is that what we do is we want to be able to share stories, the stories of ourselves and others. And that's why it's so important to be plugged into a lot of these broadcasts so you can hear other people's stories, so you have more stories to share with others. Now, that first element, your story is your background and motivation to be involved. Second story is how you got started and what you did. Now, from a product perspective, it could be something as simple as, I got started with the basic 30-pack, started using the products on a daily basis, and within a couple days, not only did I start to feel better, have more energy, resting better at night, I'd lost 3 pounds. Okay, that's results, right? Your second story is what you did, how you got started, and what you did. As a distributor, it could be, I made a decision to get involved in the business. I purchased the XYZ package, or I purchased some of the Zija products. In my case, I purchased the what we call the Builder Premium package, the largest one we've got. And then I plugged into a simple system. Okay, really key phraseology here. The second component of your story, how you got started and what you did, if it's your product story you're sharing, what products did you start with, and the fact that you use them consistently on a daily basis. From a business perspective, I purchased product and then plugged into a simple system. See, it's really important that you recognize that if you share your story correctly, it'll be the roadmap, the guide for the new distributor on what they'll want to do. People want to do things that have already been proven to be successful. So if you're prospecting a customer, share the products you started with and share that you consistently use them on a daily basis. Prospecting a distributor, share the products that you started with, the package. You might have started with the Builder Pro. Maybe you started with the basic 30 plus, the Builder Plus system. It doesn't make any difference. It's wherever you started is where you started. but what you're sharing is the elements of getting started. I purchased this package and then plugged into the simple system of duplication. Your brand new distributor or prospective distributor, for instance, they're going to say, well, I need to figure out what that, Builder Pro system is, because it sounds like lots of people started with it, and I need to find out what that simple system of duplication is, because all the people that are making money plugged into that. Okay, your story is leading your prospect, whether it's a prospective customer or distributor, in the path that they will want to go to achieve the results they're looking for. The final element of the story, the third step, if you will, is results. And ultimately, that's the only thing that matters, okay? People want to know you have results. If you're prospecting a customer, then you could say something like, and for me, I've now lost over 40 pounds since I started Zija, and I've kept it off for several years. I'm developing, I'm in the best shape of my life, and I really am. I mean, if you think about it, well, in my 20s and even in my 30s, I was probably in fairly good shape, able to do a lot of things, but that's because I was young. Fast forward 30, 40 years, I'm in good shape or better, but I'm doing it as a guy that, honestly, I see guys my age and it's kind of like, might as well just go ahead, dig the hole and throw them in, because they're dead already. They may still be talking, but they're barely walking and they got no life left in them. And, results is what matters. Now, from the business perspective, this is something that's very important, and it's a big advantage to those of you that are just getting started. You're going to have only one opportunity in your Zija career to build your fast start story. This was something I understood the day I started with Zija, because this is my third multi-level venture. I already knew exactly what to do to build my business, and the number one, very first thing I focused on was creating my story. That's why I started with the Builder Premium package. I wanted to get the largest package there was. There's so many reasons for it. In today's Zija comp plan, you get accelerated earnings for the first 6 months, 50% more team commission. You get a very large, distribution of products, so you can experience for your own personal use and share with your family. The wide range of products, you can get product stories on many of the products. I got that particular package mostly because I wanted to set the pace for my team. I understood this is very much a follow the leader kind of process. What I did would tend to be what my new people would do. Getting started with that package was a critical element to my fast start story. Now, do you have to start with the largest package to have a fast start story? Of course not. I've seen people start with Builder Pro systems, with the Builder Plus system. Anything that allows people to have a little bit more product than what they need for their own personal use. I always tell people, we have this phrase, get in where you fit in. Start with what you feel comfortable with. Personally, I'm going to tell you, start at a level that makes you uncomfortable. Okay? Go out on a limb. Start where you're not comfortable, because it's the comfort zone that keeps people staying where they're at. Get uncomfortable. Do something you're not comfortable with, because it'll motivate you to get out there and do it. Biggest challenge we have in Zija and in network marketing is there is no requirement that you invest $100,000 to $1 million to get started. Whereas in most franchises, you're going to invest $50,000, $100,000, $250,000 or more to get started. Most businesses, traditional businesses, laugh at the level of investment to get started with Zija. Most businesses spend way more money on stationery to get started than our largest package. That's the biggest challenge. For most people, you can get started with that amount of product and not have to do anything, and you'll pay off the credit card here down the road. I encourage you to get started where you're uncomfortable, and it really has to do with your level of desire, what kind of goals you've set, and that sort of thing. Now, I've been talking, and so the third step is results. For me personally, when I got started with Zija, I plugged into the simple system. I bought the Builder Premium package, followed the simple system, and within 2 weeks, I was in profit. I was able to develop 6 customers the first week, 3 distributors within the first 2 weeks. Those 3 distributors bought the big cat package like I did. My combined commissions put me in profit. Now, I want you to think about this for a minute. How much more powerful was my story when it came to developing the next batch of distributors or helping my team members recruit their first distributors, when I could say that I had a simple system, the system worked, this is my results. I purchased the big package and I was in profit in 2 weeks. And I can show you. See, I documented the system works. I knew how to do it, and I can show you. Imagine how much stronger that position is than saying something like, well, I got started a year ago and I haven't made any money yet, and that's why I'm calling you. See, two complete opposites, right? So, as a brand new distributor, you get one chance to build your fast start Zija story. And mark my words, you're going to be sharing your initial story for the rest of your Zija career. Today, people think, well, it's easy for Fred to recruit somebody. He's made, fortunes. And yes, I have. Okay. I've made a lot of money. But you know what? Most people don't care about that. Only to the extent that it may document the long-term potential. What people want to know is, what did I do to get off to a fast start? What did I do my first day, my first week, my first month? And that's why it was so important to me to get off to a fast start, because I knew I would be sharing that story for the rest of my Zija career. Now, let's change our tack here for a minute, and then I'm going to open up for questions. What do you do if you joined Zija, a month ago, a year ago, 5 years ago? Maybe you didn't start with an eye towards creating a full-time or a above full-time income from a part-time basis. Maybe things have changed. In the beginning, you were interested in simply using our products, maybe getting a few customers to help offset the cost of additional products you wanted to use. But today, you want to build a business because you see what's happening with Zija. What do? Folks, it's all about how you share your story. One of my favorite lines, and I talk about this many times, is from Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn says 3 things, okay? Number 1, have a good story to tell. That's the first element. Number 2, learn how to share that story well. It's all about phrasing. It's all about the words you use to communicate the feelings that you have. The number 3, if you share a good story often enough, it will eventually fall on good ears. And that's the magic of what we do. Folks, the difference between me and anybody else that started in the industry 30 plus years ago like I did, or started in Zija, 10, 11 years ago like I did, frankly, the only difference that makes any real difference is I stayed with it. I didn't quit. 4 years ago when I started my very first company, there were other people who started at the same time I did. I stayed with that company and I didn't quit, and I made good money. I went to a second company that had better timing 2 years later and made a fortune. But there were a lot of people that started with me in that second company in the the fall of 1987, fall of 1987. There were a lot of people started with me at that time that went away. What was the difference between me? And I made a fortune with that company. I retired 8 years after joining that company. What was the difference? I didn't quit. I kept going. Same thing with Zija. A lot of people started with Zija, okay, when I did. They're not around anymore. What's the difference? I didn't quit because I understand that principle. Have a good story to tell. That's our job, to create that story. Number two, learn how to share it well. That's what we're talking about right now. Number three, if you share a good story often enough, it'll eventually fall on good ears. And that's the part that you just have to believe, have the faith, because I will tell you, and so will so many of Zija's top income earners. Some got off to a fast start and created a good story. Some took them 1, 2, 3 years, maybe longer, to create a story. Some of you were on our Thursday night broadcast. I had Dee Dee Shaw and Dr. Gayla Gates as my guests on the business presentation. What we didn't talk about is Dee Dee. She's a stay-at-home mom. She's homeschooling, she's a bunch of kids, a whole bunch. Her objective was to create a replacement level of income to replace the income that she had earned as an executive in the corporate world, but be able to do that part-time from home. It took Dee Dee Shaw 4 years to hit diamond. And I want you to think about this for a minute. Our diamond income earners are typically in the top 3 or 4% of earners in the entire country of all professions. A diamond level income will put you well above average, okay? Put you into a 6-figure income. Does it bother Dee Dee that today, that it took her 4 years to get there on a part-time basis? No. If anything, like, she might want to have done it faster, but then she would have had to violate her primary purpose of becoming a Zija diamond, which was to be able to do it part-time from home. See, it's not about, some people get off to a fast start. Some people build progressively. What's important to understand is if you stay with it, your story will eventually fall on good ears. Now, I want to specifically address those of you that maybe you didn't hear this when you first started, or somebody said you want to get off to a fast start, make money right away, but you never had like a toolbox to use, or maybe your goals then are different than now and you don't have that story. I'm going to give you a real simple tool, okay? It's how to evaporate time. What you do in the next 30 days with Zija can be your fast start story. If you've been in for 30 days already, or 6 months, or a year, or 5 years, you can evaporate that time and make the next 30 days the beginning of your fast start story with one simple concept. What you've done over the last 30 days, 6 months, year, 5 years is not an issue. It's not an advantage to creating a fast start story. And if it's not an advantage, by definition, it becomes a disadvantage. There is no neutral. It is either an advantage or a disadvantage. And if it's a disadvantage, you need to evaporate it. So let me give you an example. You started 6 months ago. Okay, you started with with one of the business builder packages, but for whatever reason, you did not get the results that you were looking for. Okay, here's the way you evaporate that. I joined the company 6 months ago, and I've been on a path to use the products, and I've gotten great results on the products. And let me tell you what's happened in the last 30 days since I made a commitment to building the business. The next 30 days can be the beginning of your fast start story. All you have to do is start today focused on your long-term goals of creating higher level income. You can evaporate 30 days, you can evaporate 6 months, a year, you can even evaporate 5 years. I joined the company 5 years ago. I've been using the products on a daily basis. These are the things that have happened to me. But let me tell you what's happened in the last 30 days since I've made a commitment to build the business with our new product introduction, the Intune CBD squares. However you phrase it, you can evaporate all the time that maybe was not an advantage to you share your commitment to the product, and then let me tell you what happened in the last 7 days. This week, this is Saturday, it's the beginning of cycle 2. Cycle 2? Cycle 3. Honestly, I got to tell you, I'm moving so fast these days. The beginning of cycle 3. Okay, so this is the beginning of cycle 3. Make a commitment. Go share the product with, one person a day for the next 7 days. Go share the opportunity with one person a day for the next 7 days. Let me tell you what's going to happen between now and the end of this week. You could get 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 customers. You could get 1 or 2 or 3 new distributors. And you will have created sales volume, and most importantly, it's the high pay volume, personal enrollment volume, and you could make $100, $200, $300, $400, and then you can say, I've been using the products for 5 years, but let me tell you what's happened in the last 7 days since I made a commitment to build the business. I made $118.37 in my brand new business in the last week. I made $273. Make no mistake about it. You do not have to make $1 million to be successful at attracting people to your business. Think about this for a minute. If you made $100 this week, how many other people in this country would love to have a business where they could make an extra $400 or $500 a month over and above what they've got? Most families, that would be a godsend if they had an extra $5,000 a year. It doesn't take a lot to get people to want to be part of what you're doing. So these are the things I wanted to share with you today. I hope it's been helpful. I'm going to jump over here to the comment section. And let's see here. Oh, Ray's taken over for Lorene in captioning the training. Good stuff, Ray. Good for you. Background and motivation. Let's see. There is a link that Ray shared. It's the link to the Facebook groups for Zija Champions. Folks, if you're a Zija distributor, even brand new today, you need to be part of the Facebook group Zija Champions, because that's going to be the primary vehicle for communication of new events and that sort of thing from corporate. So you're going to have to go directly to that page, request to sign up. You're going to give your username or ID number, something like that. I forget. I signed up a long time ago, so I really don't remember what's there. But just follow the instructions, get signed up. Thank you, Ray, for sharing that. I tend to forget that. Let's see. Good morning, everyone. Hey, Julie. Good morning. Geez, Ray, I'm going to let you do the training next time. You're doing a lot better job than me. Consistency, yes. Folks, something that's been in my notes for years, I mean, it's been in almost every single journal I've ever had. Consistency of effort and persistence will overcome all obstacles. Consistency and persistency will overcome all obstacles. I can guarantee you that in my tenure in this industry, and we're going back, to the mid-'80s as a cross-country truck driver, I had many more obstacles than most people. The key was that I am very consistent on a daily basis, and I will persist until I accomplish my goals. Not for a month, not for a year, not until this happens or that happens. It never occurred to me that I would quit. I would continue until I achieved my goals. I logged in using Ray's Zoom account, but he's oh, okay. I just figured out how come Ray looks like he's Lorene Best. Many of you that attend regularly know Lorene captions the training. It's a very good tool for you to see what she has written, and because that takes all of my verbiage and puts it into the important points, which obviously I can't do. But she just said that she logged in using Ray's account. So I'm giving Ray all these kudos. And hey, but I still think you're cool, Ray. Danielle, thank you as always. Oh, thank you, Danielle. We always appreciate you. Every day is a new day. Start over with the same enthusiasm. Oh, man, I'll tell you what. Master your emotions, okay? This is one of the toughest things in the world to do in all areas of life, okay? But I can share this with you. If you can master yourself, you know, how you feel, you know, how you feel about what you're doing, you will go a long ways towards creating success in all areas of your life. Lao Tse, Chinese philosopher, you know, was quoted as saying, probably, I don't know what, 1,000 years ago or something, the man who conquers others is strong. The man who can conquer himself is all powerful. When I read that, I'll tell you what, that was strong. Okay, an awful lot of what I've learned in network marketing, I've tried to impart to my children. Okay, one of the boys heard it, one of them didn't. You know, that's 50-50. I'll go with that one. Let's see, every day doesn't mean stop. Very good. Questions, folks? We got a few minutes left before I take off here. Any questions on any elements of what we've been talking? I encourage you to throw that into the chat window. I'll do my best to handle that. And while you know you're putting those questions in there, I'm going to give you a couple of things here. We are 50% of the way through period 140. Okay, we have an opportunity over the next 6 weeks for each one of you to be qualified for the Zija 1 Leadership Academy. This is our brand new, the inaugural event for this. Each one of you has an opportunity to qualify to be there. And don't for one moment think that as a brand new person, maybe you signed up this morning, that you can't be at this event, because the path to achieving that is actually the easiest for the brand new person. Connect with your sponsor, or move up the chain, if you will, till you find somebody who's actively engaged that can help you create that game plan, that path to being there. Let's see. What key? Okay, here we go. Every day's news doesn't mean. What key points for brand new distributors when they don't have a story yet and want to build a business? Oh, that's an excellent question. For the question from, well, Ray is, what would I suggest to a brand new distributor who doesn't have a story yet, but they want to start building a business? Go back to the fundamentals of new distributor training. How do you share the story? Or how do you, you know, sell the product? How do you recruit distributors? You share the stories of people that have been successful in the product and successful in the business. If you're recruiting a prospective distributor, you share your story and the stories of others. If you don't have a story yet, then you share the stories of others. And the fact of the matter is, you're going to have a story very quickly. From a product perspective, you want a one-day story, get on the CBD squares. Okay, I had a 20-minute product story. Can't wait 20 minutes. Here's a product combination that'll give you a 5-minute product story. Limitless and Ignite. That's a party. Get yourself a package of Limitless and Ignite, put the two together. That's a 5-minute story. See, you don't have to have lost 40 pounds. Before I lost 40 pounds on Zija, I'd lost 30. Before I'd lost 30 pounds, I'd lost 20. Before I lost 20 pounds, I lost 10. And before I lost those first 10 pounds, I lost the first 3 pounds. See, you can build your story. You don't need to have, you know, 6 months, 5-year story. You can build a product story right away. You know, take an XM Plus. Drink it down. Talk to me in 15 minutes about how you feel. Now you've got a product story. Do the 2-minute miracle on your face. Now you've got a 2-minute story on the products. Same thing in the business. You may not have, the day you start your Zija business, you may not have a story. But within a few days, my story when I first started Zija, I got 6 customers in the first week. Now, how did I get 6 customers the first week? I talked to 12 people. Now, that's a pretty high closing ratio, but I pre-selected the people, pre-screened them, if you will, who I was going to talk to, because it wasn't about sharing the product. It was about creating my story. So I, on purpose, selected the first 12 people I was going to talk to about my business. I focused on people that I figured would buy my product anyway. Okay? Several of them were what I call sympathy sales. They would do whatever was necessary to help me. Okay, my sister was one of my first customers. The gal I was going out with was one of my first customers. A buddy who owed me money was one of my first customers. Each one of those 3 people, they were going to buy the product at least once, no matter what. Okay, that was part of the game plan to create the story. Now, as soon as you make a sale, you have an income story. Is it the huge income story that you want to be able to attract people that you know and high-level potential distributors? Probably not. You share other people's stories. Don't worry about the story you don't have. Worry about creating the story you want. Until you get the story you want, share the stories of others. Okay, hope that was helpful, Ray. Let's see. Most important relationship in network marketing is the one with yourself, by yourself, and then share your products. Yeah, of course. And folks, I'm going to tell you right now, I often hear people challenged by having friends who don't buy the product for whatever reason. Okay, I don't like the taste. I don't, it's too expensive, what have you. Don't react to objections to buying the product. Share your story. You have a good story, it'll eventually, share it often enough, it'll eventually fall on good ears. I've got friends that have not purchased my product. Okay, I've gotten friends that I've given product to because I care about them so much and they won't use it. Okay, yeah, we all do. All right, as soon as you've had as many people say no to you as I have, as soon as you've signed up as many people that quit as I have, then you deserve my paycheck. Okay, happens to everybody. It's not your job to worry about whether people want to buy the product, whether they want to stay on the product, whether they want to be a distributor, whether they want to stay in the business. Not your job. Your job is to give everybody an opportunity, and if you do it often enough, your words will eventually fall on the right ears. So we've come up to the allotted time that I have. A couple of quick things for next week. Do not miss Pat Anderson's product-focused broadcast, Health Talks with Pat. It's Wednesday evening, 9:30 Eastern Time. Go to www.clubmoringa.com and you'll access that broadcast. Thursday evening, same thing. We're going to be doing the business presentation. As a matter of fact, don't hold me to this. I think I might have Double Diamond Ruth Claybrooks as my guest. If I do, you're going to want to hear her story. She and Bill, I mean, I'll tell you what, you talk about incredible leadership and folks that have found a different way to live, to have time, freedom, flexibility through the Zija Income Opportunity. The next Saturday morning, we'll be right back here again, working on another topic. And then my last comment in closing, I want to wish all of you, mothers, grandmothers, fellows that are filling that role for their children, a very happy Mother's Day. Mom's going to have 2 Mother's Days this week. She'll be doing Mother's Day with me and part of tomorrow, and then she's going to do the rest of Mother's Day with my sister. So wish you all a wonderful, happy Mother's Day. None of us could be here without you, moms. All right, so have a great rest of your weekend, folks. Thanks for joining us. I'll have this uploaded to the YouTube channel here in a little bit. Have a great rest of your weekend. Take care.